When I was done with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, there was a reason that I invented the shot of Harrison riding a horse into the sunset, because I thought that brought the curtain down on the trilogy, and then we were all going to move on and mature into other aspects of filmmaking, and I never thought I would ever see Indiana Jones again, which, by the way, in a sweet, nostalgic way, was fine with me at the time. But there were some people it wasn't fine with, and I think it started with the fans.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is directed by Steven Spielberg and produced by George Lucas. The film was written by George Lucas, David Koepp, Jeff Nathanson, and Philip Kaufman. This is an action-adventure film with some supernatural and science fiction elements to it. The film stars Harrison Ford as Dr. Henry Indiana Jones Jr., Karen Allen as Marion Ravenwood, John Hurt as Dr. Harold Oxley, Ray Winstone as Mac, Shia LaBeouf as Mutt Williams, and Cate Blanchett as Colonel Dr. Irina Spalko. I would say that this movie would probably be okay for anyone 15 years of age and older. The film has a runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes. Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was released in theaters in the United States on Thursday, March 22nd, 2008. This is the only Indiana Jones film that I have gotten to see in theaters, because I was either not born when the others came out, or I was just a newborn. It is 1957, and it is at the height of the Cold War. Colonel Dr. Irina Spalko and a convoy of Soviet agents posing as U.S. soldiers infiltrate a military base in the Nevada desert, which happens to be Area 51. They have captured archaeologist Indiana Jones and force him to lead them to a crate in Hangar 51, which holds the remains of an extraterrestrial creature that crash-landed 10 years before in Roswell, New Mexico. Indy uses both gunpowder and buckshot to find the crate, which has magnetic properties. Indiana attempts to escape, but is foiled by his partner Mac, who reveals that he's working with the Soviets. After a fight and an elaborate vehicle chase through the warehouse, Indiana Jones escapes on a rocket sled into the desert, where he stumbles upon a nuclear test town and survives a nuclear blast by hiding in, get this, a lead-lined refrigerator. That part of the film was pretty far-fetched, I'll just put it that way. While being debriefed, Indiana Jones discovers he is under FBI investigation because of Mac's ties to the Soviets. Indiana returns to Marshall College, where he is offered an indefinite leave of absence to avoid being fired because of the investigation. At a train station, Indiana is stopped by a greaser named Mutt Williams and told his old colleague Dr. Harold Oxley disappeared after discovering a crystal skull near the Nazca lines in Peru. Jones and Mutt go to a local diner where they discuss Akator, also known as El Dorado. Mutt passes Indy a letter from Oxley. Soviet agents approach them and a chase commences on the college grounds. Indiana realizes that the Soviets were trailing Mutt to get to him to decode Oxley's letter. In Peru, Indiana and Mutt discover that Oxley was locked in a church-operated psychiatric hospital until the Soviets kidnapped him. In Oxley's former cell, Indiana discovers clues to the grave of Francisco de Orellana, a conquistador who went missing in the 1500s while seeking Akator. Indiana finds the crystal skull that Oxley hid in Orellana's grave. The Soviets capture Indiana and Mutt and take them to the camp, where they are holding Oxley as well as Mutt's mother and Indiana Jones's ex-lover, Marion Ravenwood, who is once again portrayed by Karen Allen. Indiana learns that the Soviets believe the skull, which magnetically attracts even non-furous objects, is from an extraterrestrial life form and holds great psychic power. Oxley has suffered a mental breakdown due to overexposure to the skull's powers. Marion reveals that Mutt's real name is Henry Jones III and that he is Indiana's son. The four escape from the Soviets, leading to a lengthy vehicle chase involving a sword fight between Mutt and Spalko and a swarm of killer Saifu ants. Escaping on an amphibious vehicle, Indiana, Mutt, Marion, Oxley, and Mac arrive at the Temple of Akator, a Maya-style pyramid in the Amazon rainforest. Claiming that he is a CIA double agent working against the Soviets, Mac enters the temple with Indiana and the group, but he is actually leaving a trail of homing devices for Spalko to follow. The group enters the temple, and Indiana uses the skull to open the door to a chamber tomb, where 13 crystal skeletons, one missing a skull, are seated on thrones. After the Soviets arrive and again reveals Mac's complicity, Spalko places the skull onto the skeleton and it begins communicating to the group through Oxley using an ancient Mayan dialect. Indiana translates this to mean that the aliens want to give them a great gift. Spalko demands to know everything, and the skulls begin transferring knowledge into her mind. As a portal to another dimension appears over the room, Oxley regains his sanity and explains that the aliens are actually interdimensional beings who taught the Uga warriors their advanced technology. Indiana, Mutt, Marion, and Oxley escape from the temple, but Mac and the soldiers are sucked into the portal. The skeletons form into a single alien, which continues to feed Spalko with knowledge. However, the knowledge overwhelms Spalko, causing her to ignite and disintegrate, with her scattered essence absorbed into the portal as well. The temple crumbles and a flying saucer rises from the debris and disappears as the Amazon River floods the valley. After they return home, Indiana is reinstated and made an associate dean at Marshall College, and he and Marion are married. Okay, so that is the synopsis of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Here are my negatives for the film. First off, I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash or flack for this, but this movie is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Are there problems with it? Yes. The story is okay, but it could have been a lot better. The film is too clean looking. It doesn't look like the other three in the fact that it doesn't have that Saturday matinee serial look and vibe to it. Several of the characters were just downright awful. Shia LaBeouf as Mutt Williams, all he was annoying. He's not relatable, and he was sometimes really rude and mean. Then there's Mac, played by Jim Broadbent. He was just a greedy asshole, and the whole time throughout this movie, I wanted to punch him in the throat. I thought Cate Blanchett's character, Colonel Dr. Irina Spalko, the villain of the piece, was not all that interesting. Some parts of the film and some scenes look like they were shot on green screen, even though they are on a soundstage or shot on location. Some of the lighting is bad as well, and some scenes the characters look very washed out. And those are my negatives. Here are my positives for the film. I love the fact that Harrison Ford is still up to playing Indiana Jones even though he's getting older. I love that they brought back the character of Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen. She was always my favorite of the three females from the first three movies. The humor of this movie is good. It's not campy. You know, I laughed a lot. John Hurt was great as Dr. Harold Oxley, especially in the scenes where the crystal skull had control of his mind and he had to act crazy and off his rocker. I thought he did a real good job with that. Several of my favorite scenes from this movie really helped the film, I think. The first scene was when Indy and Mutt are being chased by the KGB through the university campus, and the chase ends in the library where one of Indy's students sees him and asks him a question about a lesson, and Indy answers him as he and Mutt ride out of the library on Mutt's motorcycle. It was always such a funny scene. The second one was the sword fight on the moving vehicles during the jungle chase between Mutt and Spalko. And during the fight, as Marion is driving the vehicle that Mutt is on, she's driving and telling Mutt what to do like he's in one of his fencing matches. And then the other scene was the 3 times it drops waterfall scene. The musical score, once again done by the brilliant and talented John Williams, magnificent. Now it's grading time. I'm going to give Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a B-. This is still a good movie, even though there are a lot of problems with it. It's a fun movie. It's a movie you can enjoy and laugh at. I do own it on DVD, and I hope to get it on Blu-ray very soon. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, go down to the bottom, click the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up and give me a like. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when I have new stuff posted. Give me some comments, and I will say good night. God bless. I love all of you, and Merry Christmas.
Grab on. Grab it.
Grab it, Indy.
It's a rat snake.
Rat snakes aren't that big.
Well, this one is, all right? It's not even poisonous. Now grab on.
Go get something else.
Like what?
Like a rope or something.
There's no Sears and Roebuck here. Grab the snake.
Maybe I can touch the bottom.
There is no bottom. Now grab it. Grab
No, I
it.
think I can feel it with my feet.
Grab the snake.
I'm calling it that.
It's a snake. What do you want me to call it?
Say rope.
What?
Say grab the rope.
Grab the rope. Hold tight. It's slimy.
Get rid of that thing, will you?